What's up, Vape fam? Sorteal here, and welcome to the Vaporworks lab. We've got another RDA. Actually, this was one that came in. I kind of tore into the package and built it immediately, and then tested it upwards until today, and then cleaned it all up. Said, all right, let's do the review. Let's just go ahead and bust this thing out of the way, because I was so pumped for it. Easily most anticipated atomizer that's been released in years for me, because it's the successor to my favorite atomizer of all time. And yes, of course, what we're talking about is the Asgard Mini V2. So excited about this one, guys. And a lot of people are. I released images on Instagram like, hey, look, it's the Nitrous 23, it's the Vortex, it's the Bonza, it's the Blaze. I'm gonna have reviews for all these. And I got a lot of comments or messages that people were just like, yeah, but I'm just waiting for the Asgard Mini. Everyone's expecting this thing just to blow everything else out of the water. So let's find out if it does. Let's dive on over, guys. This is the package that your Asgard Mini V2 will come in. Extremely similar to the Asgard V2, to the point that it actually messes up and says 28mm with 30mm beauty ring. Like, they just didn't, they've got it right over here, but I think they just did it and were like, just put mini on it and shrink it down some. And then they just left everything else. But yeah, it is not 28mm. That is the Asgard V2. This is 25 with a 28mm beauty ring. All right, so on the inside here, little pull out just like the Asgard V2. Get your user manual. Let's just take it all the way out. Set that off to the side. You get a bag here, tool, O-rings, grub screws, and your copper 510 pin. As with all Asgards, they've got kind of their squonk pin that's got the little plug screws that are built into the bottom of the deck itself there. But they know a lot of people like these, so they always include it. I love that they did that here. This is what we're going to swap out for. And then here is the Asgard Mini V2. This Asgard 2 right there. Pop this thing out. Take a look at it. Nothing else in the package. You've got your beauty ring, of course, very similar to the one for the Asgard V2. Fits on there nicely, looks gorgeous. I love the line around the bottom. I think it looks really cool. It's just a nice little addition there. All right, drip tip, kind of the usual wide mouth Asgard drip tips, even from the originals. Dig that. Got the same pattern. It looks extremely similar. The airflow openings there are kind of slightly different. You look at the original, it's just squared off, and this kind of has that diamond shape to it. On the bottom here, Vaperz Cloud, serial number, warnings, and then there is that 510 pin that we're actually going to remove. Let's go ahead and do that now. This tool will not fit that. I don't know why they don't include the hex key to remove this. Let me see if I've got one. I think it's this fat daddy right here. It is. That is a huge hex key for this. That is a dirty hex key. I'm also very sorry about that. Make sure that stays in there. Put that off to the side and get our copper 510 pin. That's what we really want. Put that there. Grab our screwdriver. Tighten this bad boy down. Tighten it down good, but you don't want to really crank on it. Just because this is copper and it's soft, you will kind of ding this up and kind of strip it a little bit if you really kind of crank down on it. Definitely hybrid mechanical mod safe, as everyone assumed it would be. Peak doesn't come up above the threading. I was kind of hoping for that just because it's sort of standard now. And it does add that, you know, little touch of extra safety. But being that, you know, it's the Asgard, I'm not really worried about it. It would have just been cool to see that. All right. Go ahead and put all of this stuff off to the side. I'm not going to use the beauty ring on this one, basically because I'm going to put it on a mech mod eventually built for 25 millimeters. Take this off here. It is on there tight. There we go. Very similar to the Asgard 2 deck, just shrunken down, and also very similar to the original Asgard. So yeah, grub screws there. They are flathead. I'm sure a lot of people would have wished they would have been hex, but I mean, it's Vaperz Cloud. They go with flathead grub screws all the time. Not a big issue to me. I love the way this looks. I don't know what they've done with just this part of the deck that says Asgard 2, but I love the way it looks. Let's go ahead, back these grub screws out and install some coils on this. Coils we're going to use today, some Twisted Timmys. They are some NI90 Alien V2s, 0.08, 3 millimeter. All right. Good deal. Let's go ahead and do this. That one was a little stuck. Also, I didn't spend a whole lot of time going over the top cap and the airflow insert, all of this deal. It is identical pretty much to the Asgard V2. Just pop it out. Instead of the slit, you've got the 3 holes with a little bit there on the bottom. That deal right there. That's going to go. The inside, you got your catch in there. And there it is. Just didn't spend a whole lot of time on it when we were initially looking at all the outward appearance of the atomizer because it's just so similar to the original Asgard 2. And it's also, you know, just very similar to the original Asgard Mini. Just with some slight subtle differences. Oh my lord, Timmy. You have some like gorilla strength at closing these. Oh, there we go. I'm going to say that, and it's going to be Jennifer that's closing these down, and I'm having issues with it. All right. So normally I cut these at 5. We're going to do 5.5. Actually, no, we're not. Let's just do 5. Hell with it. I say 5.5 because of the way these kind of sit down in here. Sometimes even with the original Asgard. All right. There's all that. Even with the original Asgard, I will do 5.5 sometimes. But 5 just, I don't know. 5 just feels right. The problem with 5 is how low it is. But I want it right up next to that airflow. We're rolling with it. We'll pull it up. We'll kind of do a RDA for vaping deal on this. You don't know what I mean by that. Like the RDA for vaping, I don't know if everybody else does this. I do this, and I'm pretty sure that Coil Turd does it as well. I just cut them to like 4. Slam them to the deck where they're touching. And then I'll use a coiling tool to actually pick them up off the deck. So now we're going to straighten these up some. We will actually take our airflow insert out of here so we can see where exactly it's going to sit next to that. That's kind of what I mean by RDA for vaping way of doing it. Kind of grabbing them and actually picking them up a little bit. It looks pretty good. Probably pick this one up a little bit more, but I think I'm just going to leave them. Just straighten them out. See where They sit with this. Do I need to scoot them over? Maybe a little bit. Given that that is an Ultim insert, maybe about right there. I think that'll work good. Good position. Coming out to 0.05. So we're probably going to pulse and pinch this a little high. So we're going to go ahead and wick this up with the usual BP Mods Pro Vape Cotton. It should say Easy Vape Cotton. That should be the name of this. I don't know why you put Pro. Should be Easy Vape Cotton. Like the Easy Bake Oven, but for vape cotton. Because that's what this stuff is. 0.08 on the money. Coil placement is pretty much the same. So if you've got the original and you're like, ooh, let me get the new one, I wonder if there's something different about building or wicking or no, there's not. It's exactly the same. So for this one, I'm going to go to the deck, but then I'm going to come out a hair. Basically, just kind of measuring it to get to the base of the wick well. But because it's going to go over that lip, you want to come up just a little bit from where you measure. Not there. And there you go. Bob's your uncle. All right. Recipe that I'm going to use with this one is going to be my whipped cheesecake. It is what I am vaping in this right here. And we're actually going to compare the two to see which one kind of gives better flavor for the exact same recipe. And both have identical resistance to their coils. It is 0.08. Take our top cap here, make sure the airflow is lined up. Oh my Lord. Those O-rings are so tight. You really want to get some liquid and juice those O-rings up because they are crazy tight. Oh, much better. Much better. All right. Looking pretty good. Let's go ahead. We will jump back up top. We'll vape it on this for a little bit. Then we're going to stick it on the Vert 2 mech mod from Unicorn Vapes and vape on it that way. And I'll tell you guys what I think. Jump back up top. All right. Back up top. The Asgard Mini V2 with my whipped cheesecake. I'm going to up this wattage. It's sitting at about 65 watts. I'm going to jack it up to, let's start out at 85, just kind of break everything in a little bit. Airflow just wide open. It's a little bit airier wide open than the original Asgard Mini. One of the reasons for that, the holes on this are bigger. Check this out. So this is also one of the differences. the holes for the V2s are bigger. There's kind of more of them with the original, but they're bigger on the V2. So wide open, it just has more airflow than the original. Let's turn it down, maybe about 25%. All right, let's go ahead and crank the wattage up. I'm just going to take it all the way to, let's say 100, and let's just do 110. We did 110 on the Vortex, and that was 0.09. So ought to be fine with this one, right? A little underpowered, actually, right? All right, here we go. That is extremely good. Pull off this is just beautiful. You can kind of feel the pull where that whole chamber is kind of compressed. It's not restrictive, but you can kind of feel the, I guess, the tension on the pull. The flavor is just out of this world. I mean, what am I even pausing for? The flavor is fucking out of this world. I always mark that on YouTube anyway. And they're like, do you cuss? Fuck yeah, I do. Check. All right. I think we've broken it in enough. You guys basically know how the airflow works to the Asgard Mini. You're just turning the top cap. Can't really see it, so you just kind of have to play with it. Take a pull, turn it a little bit, take another pull until you get it to where it is you actually want it. The difference between the V2 and the V1 is those kind of shifts to it are a little bit more dramatic. You get more airflow coming in, so just keep that in mind. You're kind of turning down that airflow. You're going to want to do it a little bit extra to get it to the point you liked it on the original. Let's go ahead and stick this on the Vert 2. All right, got it on the Vert 2 here. One thing with this is that right there. See that stainless steel underneath? I mean, it's just barely, but that gets annoying. It really does. It will not go all the way down to hide that. You're always going to see a little bit of stainless steel. Doesn't matter what I do. It's just there. I don't like that about this. I don't have that problem with the original so much. I have had a couple of them that I had to kind of finagle to completely cover up that base of stainless steel there, but nothing I do with this one. And I've got one more. They both do it. So yeah, doesn't matter what I do. Little teeny bit of stainless steel is going to show through. All right. Oh man, that's good. And that's just wide open. It's too much power going on for me to cut this down too much. Actually, hell with it. Let's try it. Now I've got it about that 35% closed off that I had it before where I really liked it. Let's see how it does on a mech mod, pumping out just raw voltage of the battery. Did really well. Actually, I'm going to open it up just a hair. Yeah, I think on a regulated mod, I like the airflow closed off about 35%. On a mech mod, about 25. All right, so if we hadn't already fogged up the Vaporworks lab enough, let's go ahead and do a comparison between the Asgard Mini V2 and the original Asgard Mini. Both of these have the exact same build in them. It is the Twisted Timmy's NI90 Aliens coming out to 0.08. They both have full P45B batteries in them. They are different mechs, but these are the two I think that are really close in performance to each other. So let's try the original first. Drip a little bit in here. Both using my whipped cheesecake recipe, so the exact same liquid in them. Here we go. Absolutely amazing flavor. I get everything out of that recipe. The cheesecake layer comes through. The whipped creams are in there. They mix nicely to make it a far more creamy cheesecake. Crust layer is in there beautifully. I get everything. All right. And the V2. I'm going to cut it down to where that one was. Well, relative. So this one's cut down about 25-30%. Here we go. It's close. It's very, very close. Ah, man. I gotta say this. The V2 wins out for me in flavor. Just by a hair. It's just, I get punched in the face with the flavor a little bit more out of the Asgard Mini V2 than I do the original. Let's try it again. And then the original. Yeah, I gotta go with the Asgard Mini V2 as far as flavor. It's the same detail to the flavor. It's just a teeny bit louder in the Asgard Mini V2. Let's just go ahead and get down to it. Pros and cons. What do I like? What do I dislike? How about the Asgard Mini V2? As far as cons go, it's right there in front of you. That little stainless steel line at the bottom. It bugs me so much. It probably shouldn't. It's just so slight and subtle. But if I've got it on a black mech like this and I look down at it and I see that little stainless steel line, it bugs me. It really does. You just had to make the top cap a millimeter longer and it would have been perfect. This thing would have been perfect. There's nothing I can do to get it to cover that up. But you know, that may not bother you at all. I'm just crazy when it comes to wanting everything to match up. I'm weird like that. So yeah, it bugs me. I will probably on a 25 millimeter mech mod, I will use the original Asgard Mini for all of those. And then I'll use the beauty ring with this one on a 28 or 30 millimeter mechanical mod. And that's just the way it's going to go, which is fine because I like the beauty ring on this one better than the original. As far as pros, everything else about this is pro. It's very, very similar to the original Asgard Mini in its overall design. The only things that really changed were how the airflow comes in. And I don't mean they changed the airflow insert massively. They just changed the holes for the way the airflow comes in. So it's not quite as restrictive as the original, even wide open. You get a little bit more airflow, but it's not windy or anything like that. It's not too much airflow. It's really the perfect amount. And because of that, the flavor on this just goes up a notch compared to the original. Like I said, they're extremely similar. They are both my favorite atomizers of all time, but this wins out just a hair as my absolute favorite atomizer of all time, even with that damn stainless steel line at the bottom that bugs me to all hell. But yeah, it wins out because its flavor is slightly better. So if you're a fan of the original Asgard Mini, or like me, you think it's the greatest atomizer ever made, go get the Asgard Mini V2 because it beats it out. It beats it out by about that much. And it's mainly flavor is why it beats it out. It sure as hell isn't aesthetic with that damn fucking stainless steel line at the... All right, I'm being ridiculous. That's really not that big of a deal. But to me, it is. It's OCD. I know, and I know it is. All right, guys. So definitely go pick up the Asgard Mini V2. You will not be disappointed. Don't listen to me rant rave about that stainless steel line at the bottom. That is not a big deal at all. I'm just being goofy, sort of, kind of. But yeah, it's easily the greatest atomizer ever made, in my opinion, because it's so similar to the original. Just amps up the flavor even more. All right, guys, that's it. I got to drip a little bit more to vapor face the camera this time. That's it. Vape on, and I'll catch you guys in the next one.